The following program is a Nighthawk Network presentation.
Good evening, people. What's going on? It's your boy eBook, producer, co-host, uh, other things. I'm here. It is the show that we do once a week. We call that show the Guru Sports Session. I am not here alone, which is a good thing today, because as y'all see, when I had the sunglasses on, it ain't been a good day. But we'll get into that a little later. Right now, we ready to talk sports with my brethren, young Hugh Lee. What's going on, Hugh?
Hey, what's up, man? It's a lot of good stuff that's been going on, man, and we're gonna be discussing today.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's a good thing because I need distraction because I'm feeling kind of But I will soldier on because, just like when we get to the NFL later, there's a lot of people that's got the soldier on too.
Absolutely. Let's kick this thing off right, man. Let's talk about the WNBA playoffs and get an update of what was going on, man. If I was a betting man, I probably would have lost last night. That's why I wasn't really feeling too happy. I told you before they even played, I said, my man, I think this is gonna be it. And I think the Atlanta Dream and I think the Las Vegas Aces are going to move on. Wasn't too happy, man. Well, actually, I wasn't even really too mad about the Fever game. They let Alea Boston and Kelsey Smith just really cook Kelsey Mitchell. And when they cooked, I mean, whenever they play well, man, usually the team go as they go. More than anything, I was thinking, man, they got this 18 game win streak on lock right now. When I looked and I seen the score, then when they said it was a tied game, I said, ain't no way, because sometimes the messages come late. So when I saw it, yeah, not only were they tied, I seen the Seattle Storm ended up taking the lead and pulling away and winning that game. They were up like 14 in that fourth quarter. So yeah, I was definitely surprised, but it's good for playoff basketball though, because what I liked about it was both teams said if you win, you ain't winning on our court. So yeah, that makes good too for their ratings. What was your thought on just the playoffs in general?
Man, let me just first say this is a very proud moment for me because once upon a time, that brother right there, Hugh Lee, he wasn't that big a WNBA fan, if at all. Now look at him. Not only is he a fan, he can talk it fluently. Sound like we was in China and he was talking Chinese. It's a beautiful thing. Good job, Hugh.
I appreciate it, man. It's definitely been good basketball. I think when I first started getting into it, it was the funny thing was it was the playoffs, and I think it was like the very last game, the championship round, when the Las Vegas Aces was playing, and they played who are now the reigning champions, the New York Liberty, and they went back to back. So I seen that series and I said, man, that was real competitive. It reminded me of the old school NBA in the 90s. It was very physical. It was good, basketball. Both teams wanted to win and they played like it. And you could see it in the way they had the passion for the game. And that made for good basketball. And that's one thing that caught my attention because, they shoot their threes and stuff every now and then, but it's nowhere as near as bad as the NBA, man, especially when you got guys who can't really shoot the three that well in the NBA and they just shoot it anyway. So just in general, the tradition and the way they play basketball definitely caught my attention versus the new NBA, which is more like FIFA or EuroLeague basketball.
yeah, a lot more attention being paid in the WNBA these days to the mid-range game, and of course playing some solid defense, which is definitely things we missing from the NBA right now. But that being said, y'all, last year, if you are watching the WNBA like I was, that first round last year, it was trash. A lot of them games was like, next thing you know, we was in the second round real quick. I like
Absolutely.
that this time around, teams putting up a fight. They
Yeah.
said, okay, this is a 3-game series. We could make some things happen. All right. All we need is that one good win in one of them first 2 games. And game 3, like game 7, anything can happen.
It's a toss up.
So yeah, I'm definitely liking the fact that we're getting some more fight out of all the teams in this first round. I think when all is said and done, Hugh, relax. I think most of our favorite teams will go on and make it to the next round. But yeah, they're gonna have to come with it though.
Yeah, they definitely ain't just gonna get it just because they go on the court and feel like they the better team. You're gonna have to earn it.
Absolutely. And of course, shout out to all the league leader winners that's already been announced. I like that also. The fact that they don't mess around like the NBA do and wait about 2-3 weeks into the playoffs before we start to know who won all the big awards. So shout out, of course, to Asia Wilson, who's done it yet again.
Definitely well
Thank you
deserved.
for that, sister. Shout out, of course, to my homegirl Paige Beckers, Rookie of the Year. Was there any doubt?
It was cool how she got it too, man. How they did it on the show, and she going down just thinking she just gonna be on the show just to be on the show. Then the coach showed up like, hey, I got something for you. So
Right, and actually, do you one better, Hugh? It was a Jennifer Hudson show, and of course, y'all know they do the little spirit walk
oh
thing.
yeah.
But yeah, she was actually given a trophy at the end of the hallway by the commissioner herself.
Hmm.
That was the WNBA commissioner that gave her the trophy.
Yeah, she wasn't expecting that, man. And it's always cool because Jennifer Hudson, even with just Jennifer Hudson's walking on stage, man, everybody's so live and spirited on her show. And it makes
Absolutely.
you definitely appreciate being there, man, just for one. And then win an award on top of that, man, that was the icing on the cake.
Yeah, that was laughing a happy place. And of course, Paige always is a great representative of not only herself and her family, but of women's basketball and the league. So very proud of all she's accomplished thus far. And again, it's just the beginning for her.
Absolutely. I want ask you another question too, E man. As we see everything going on right now, it's basically looking like, and I'm not trying to disrespect any other ladies who's playing right now in the WNBA playoffs, but we look at it like it's actually the Minnesota Lynx to lose, man. But who do you think will be the biggest threat right now to the Lynx
I
in the
think that's
playoffs?
I think that's very obvious. You, the team that went on this unprecedented streak, this 18 in a row was the biggest winning streak I think in the history of the WNBA, if I remember correctly. And keep in mind, only 44 games get played in a W. So if you mess around and win 17 or 18 of them, you the one damn near half the
The
season.
season.
That's how
Mhm.
you go from not being in the playoffs whatsoever to being the number 2 seed.
Yeah, because they definitely wasn't at one point, man. They was like a 500 team or maybe below 500 at
They were
one
below
point.
500.
And that's when we start having our alarm, to the point where we was like, yeah, it's starting to look scary for them, man, because they're not playing good. And that's when we were saying, man, they need to shop off everybody who ain't Asia Wilson, man, and figure out what they're gonna do. And out of nowhere, man, you start to see them play well. But like you said too, it all started when they ended up putting Jewel Lloyd on the bench and have her be that spark off the bench. Because at first I thought that she wasn't gonna like that and she was just gonna be upset about it. But she handled it well, like kind of like a Russell Westbrook did when he was the sixth man coming off the bench. Because she's going to get more minutes and she's going to play more. It was just they needed that spark off the bench, which they didn't have before. And that definitely is one of the biggest threats that they have on that team now. The way
Right.
we collaborate everything.
Right, and it worked so well that another team, the Atlanta Dream, they saw what they did and they went one better and basically took Brittany Griner out to start and have her come off the bench. And look how well that worked for them. They
Yeah.
ended up with the third best record in the league.
Yeah, they've been playing really good, man. It's teams that because at first we was looking like, okay, she's going to Atlanta. We knew Atlanta wasn't really that good last year. They had a few pieces on there, just that one ad for the most part. Brittany Griner with Ryan Howard and everybody else on the team, Lisa Gray, and it just really picked up for them, man. And
Yeah,
yeah, they're one of the more dangerous teams out of all of them too, man.
right. Don't forget Nas Hillman, the sixth player of the year.
Yeah.
Of course, she came from that fine University of Michigan.
Yeah, man, it's just been really good to watch right now, and I just want to see how that pick up in the momentum because we got the games going to be coming on right now, and I like how they split the games too because there ain't too many teams. But I'm just looking forward to them having more teams and more teams being added to the playoffs and just the more revenue they're gonna make. But I want to ask you a question, E man, and it was something I heard today. I love Don Stanley, man. I'm a huge fan of South Carolina Lady Gamecocks, and I've been embracing more of the college, girls basketball too, because it's been so good the last 4 years. But did you hear the statement she just recently made?
I did not.
She said in the next 5 years, Angel Reese will not only be one of the main attractions in the WNBA, but she said that she think that Angel Reese being their ambassador in the WNBA can surpass the NFL.
Okay, well, I think that's wishful thinking by Dawn Staley as far as the second part of that statement. But as the first part goes, I think Angel Reese already is one of the biggest attractions in the WNBA.
And I
I
didn't
think
trip on that, E.
people
That
still watched it quite a bit this year, not because of Miss Caitlin Clark, who barely played. It was because Angel Reese and, some of the good, the bad, and the ugly of it, unfortunately. But yeah, basically, I would say in terms of popularity in America, in terms of people watching what they do, she right up there now with people like Cardi B and of course Tay Tay and all of them. In
yeah.
terms of okay, where Angel at now? What's she doing now? She seen us pop up everywhere where everybody be. I mean, she
Speak,
was even at the doggone fight the other night.
I was just about to mention that. Speaking of, it was cool to see her at the fight, but then what I'm interested in too is because I wanted to know your take on the fight because I just really feel like Bud is a really class act, man. We're gonna get into that, but it was just a really good fight, man. Because a lot of people thought at first that he didn't like Canelo Alvarez, who's one of the better fighters, and if Canelo don't like you, he'll let you know flat out, man, and he don't sugarcoat anything. He can back up whatever he say. But it was never really no hate or animosity towards those two, man. Things ain't even get heated when Dana White was trying to introduce them, man. And try to separate them, thinking that they was going, get physical, man. They was like, man, we don't even know why this dude right here, man. Ain't nothing going on between us. And it was just cool to see just a really good fight from two good competitors, man. And that really, I believe, revived boxing and is going to help boxing because we don't really see that often. When did you see the best fight the best? It's not really often in boxing. Most times they'll dodge the fighter if they don't want to fight him, man. They'll be like, hey, this bill right here, I don't really need it. It don't matter to me anyway. We done seen so many people vacate belts because they didn't want to fight the best. And it was just good to see that, man. I mean, I don't know if I want to see the Floyd Mayweather Mike Tyson fight whatsoever, like we discussed, but this was a fight right here that definitely will help boxing.
Okay, well, see, in the end, I need y'all to realize we all won on Saturday night. Okay, first of all, Netflix won. One
Hmm.
of the most viewed spectacles they have aired since they've been doing live broadcasting. So yeah, they got a lot of eyes on that, and they ain't had no technical glitches like they tend to do with
Oh
some of
man,
these.
they had to fix that.
I mean, it was beautiful picture quality, much like how we have now here. But second thing is the venue won because everybody was in the building. Okay, Hollywood was in the building. The political realm was in the building. Uh, the music industry was in the building. Basically, anybody that was anybody
There.
showed up at that fight. It was big time, big, big, big time. Okay, boxing won because we actually got two quality boxers that did a good quality fight. I know people feel like, okay, well, damn, didn't nobody get knocked out, or it wasn't no big, powerful flurries or whatnot. But if you know boxing, like me and this dude know boxing, we seen one of the better fights you will ever see from two quality fighters. Okay,
Absolutely.
they both did their thing. Styles make fights, and again, I think that's why Bud ultimately won that fight because his style loaned itself more to fight Canelo than the other way around. In the end, of course, Bud won because he won all the belts and he won the notoriety. And now, when you talk boxing, one of the first names should come out your mouth as it should have been all along, was Bud Crawford. Canelo won because in the end, the way the payment set up, yeah, my man Bud, he got about good 50 mil or so for that fight. Canelo got about 150 mil for that fight. Okay? Because he was the bigger attraction.
Yeah,
So in the end, even though he lost, he still won.
he don't back down for nobody. I
Right. And
always
keep
like
in mind,
Canelo.
we gotta credit Canelo for that fight even happening. In
Absolutely.
the end, Bud was down day one, but Canelo, he didn't need that fight.
Not
Not
really.
at all. I mean, he got money, he got legacy, he got people lined up still want to fight him. And keep in mind, most people they seen that fight. I wish you would try to do what Bud did. It ain't gonna work for you. Canelo gonna knock their ass out.
But
That was a one-of-one situation.
I like the fight too. At one point, and they showed that video a lot where Canelo respected his power, man. It was like Canelo swung and he ducked under him and he hit him with a really clean, hard shot. And his face jerked back, but then he turned back around like, man, like
But
he
what
know he was in
you
for a fight, man. And
but that being said, Canelo ain't no punk, y'all.
that's a
Canelo
strong dude.
took some shots in that fight. I mean, hell, in some of them Triple G fights, Canelo took some shots. He ain't never get knocked out, okay?
Yeah. And that's when we really, really start to respect Canelo. That's why it's all praise over here because we definitely thought Triple G was going to be that guy or the biggest attraction. Nah, Canelo wasn't having
Right. Now, let me ask you what some people have asked you. Okay, let's start with Canelo.
that. Mm-hmm.
Do we need to see him fight anybody else? Should he just go and walk off into the sunset?
Canelo don't have nothing else to prove, man. But if somebody want to come up and point him out, man, I wouldn't mind seeing Canelo get inside of him real quick. But I don't think he really had nothing to prove right now, to be honest with you.
I can't think of nobody else in his weight class or close to it that I would want to see him fight. At 35, 36, he didn't did it. He good. Okay, as far as my man Bud, is there anybody else you want to see him fight?
It's not really necessarily. I'm hearing your boy talking stuff, what's his name? The dude who always in trouble, Devontae Davis. Yeah.
It doesn't matter who his name is. No. Devontae Davis do not want no parts of Bud, okay?
No,
Keep in mind, Bud would have to go down to fight in his weight class, and that's like a good 20 pounds. Bud has no need to do that.
not at all.
Devontae would have to go up to fight him. I don't think that's going to be wise for him to do that. So, yeah. But Devontae just have to wonder what could have been.
Because
Him, Stevenson, and anybody else talking junk. Because I think, and hearing Bud talk, he threw.
Because when we seen one of the fights that I really knew where Bud was that guy was when one of my homeboys Dre, man, me and Andre always talked about fighting, man, and just wished it just took the front seat like it did before. I mean, UFC really been in a league of its own, but we said we need that fight to make boxing relevant again. And when Errol Spence came out and he was gonna fight Bud, I said, damn, this gonna be a good one. My boy even looked at it and he was like, Hugh, I think that Errol Spence gonna beat him, man. I said, you really think so? He said, yeah, man. He was talking about the power of Errol Smith, and Errol Smith got embarrassed, man. When I say
Much so.
it wasn't even like he shouldn't even been in the same ring with him. I had to call my boy then, like, you really think Earl can hang with him now? And he was like, man, I didn't think he was going to get beat that bad. And that's when I knew that was the truth.
I mean, truth be told, Earl ain't been the same since that car accident. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And if you know the nature of what happened that day, Earl probably just should be happy he alive, period.
Yeah.
That was a bad accident. But that being said, Bud, he been that dude since day one.
Yeah.
If I'm him, I'm taking my money and I'm running, okay? Because in the end, that dude definitely got a future as a boxing analyst if he choose to. Keep in mind, he is one of the people that helps train people like Clarissa Shields. So if he wants to do that instead, he'd be good at that. So, yeah, I'm good with Bud calling it today.
Did you think we're going to get that fight too, the Clarissa Shields and Layla Ali?
No.
I don't think
Layla would have. I mean, you see, Clarissa got the money. She got the money for it. If she ain't accepted it by now, it ain't happening. In the end, I don't need to see that fight.
Nah, because Layla,
I think even in her prime, Layla wasn't ready for Clarissa. I'm gonna just
No,
be honest with you.
no,
As much as I love Layla Ali.
not at all. Hey, we can move on now. We can talk about some of the stuff that happened in the NCAA football this weekend. It was crazy too because what I seen at first, and we talked about it, I didn't think it was going to be that many good, matches, or matchups against teams. But a lot of teams said not so fast. Definitely the ones where the teams was ranked. And you even had some teams that was unranked and made some upsets. I'm going to start off with that team in general, E, because you basically mentioned them and you brought them up and you said that people need to put respect on their name, but damn, I didn't think that they was going to do what they did and was respected in that game. They looked like that was their home field. They was in South Carolina, but Vanderbilt punked them dudes. When I seen the score when it was 31-7, and they got basically it was 31-0. I believe that was a petty touchdown that they let them get in front of their home fans because they could have blanked them dudes that game. What are your thoughts on that game?
Okay, well, as y'all see, I keep the list. If you ain't gonna be able to see it, but Vanderbilt right there, I picked him. I did. Did you pick him? You?
No,
You should have, bro. I told you. You should know better than anybody with how well they played against Alabama last year. That Vanderbilt team has come up, okay? Understand, as anybody should, any team in the SEC is a threat. Any team.
yeah,
Because of the nature of the competition that they play and the fact that when it comes to football, all of us around the country know best conference by far, no disrespect to the Big Ten, but by far is the SEC. So if I'm trying to be seen, I'm trying to play football at a high level in college, that's where I'm going. And Vanderbilt also is a quality education, okay? One of the better academic schools in the country. So they got those two things going for themselves, and it's definitely showing up. If they keep playing like that, they may be in line for a playoff spot.
agree. Speaking of E, you ain't getting away with this one, nigga. You pull out that sheet again. Why you want to pull out sheets?
Uh-huh.
Clemson versus Georgia Tech. Already figured that was going to be that one. I was telling people the way they played last year. Think about E. They should have beat Georgia last year. They had that game in the bag, and I said, if you play Georgia like that, I said, man, which they shouldn't have won that game. They had every way to win that game, and it just seemed like Georgia Tech didn't want it as much as Georgia did. But this year, you can see a different Georgia Tech team, and it shows that defense has been better. The offense has always been kind of tricky with the options and how they play, but the quarterback's not a bad passer of the ball, and he could run the ball. He's a big physical dude, kind of remind you of poor man Josh Allen, if you may. The game was pretty close, and I said whoever get the ball last is going to win. Unfortunately, Georgia got the ball last, and I said, "Oh man, they about to drain this field goal, man. I definitely believe this is it." But yeah, I give a lot of credit where credit is due. It was a really good game, and my man's definitely start stepping up as far as when it comes to the transfer portal and the NIL deals and everything. But I just felt like Georgia Tech wanted it more in this situation.
Okay, two things. One, is it me, Hugh, or suddenly like these last couple years, field goal kickers in general done got much better
The field goal
in
kicker was
college
trash the
and in
last
pro?
2 years. Remember how trash the last 2 years the kickers was? It wasn't guaranteed at 40-yard line or
Right.
45 or getting close to 50. Man, they making it with ease now, E man. It's
Right.
like
How many kickers we done seen in both college and pro hit 50 yarders in the last couple weeks? It's crazy.
we seeing dudes like the Cowboys kicker kicking like
Okay, yeah, don't
63
jump ahead of us, man. We got to go there.
yards.
But anyway,
Okay.
look, people, Clemson, you might have a problem, and that problem is Dabo is a product of his environment. Remember, Dabo comes from that good old school Alabama, and of course, he is one of the disciples of the great man himself. And as you know, that one point he said, as he looked around Bama, like, yeah, I can't do this no more, y'all. This ain't me. It's time to move on to other things. I think Dabo may very well be on his way to making that same conclusion.
Yeah, you can
Game
see
is
it.
starting to pass him by. His stubbornness, him wanting to do it the old school way. The old school way ain't gonna work more times than not in this modern day version of football.
No. And him and Saban was the main ones who complained about everything that's going on right now. So yeah, you can see him walking off into the sunset soon too. You know
Right.
what?
And keep in mind, Hugh, I know you ain't got this on your sheet, but I gotta mention him right quick. Yeah, North Carolina, how's it working out for you? Not so good. Yeah, y'all won, but it ain't the way you thought it was gonna be, is
No. And he one of them dudes. I was surprised because he too old school to even really be trying to fall into this format of college now.
it?
It was
Exactly.
just I feel like he was too stubborn to swallow his pride to know that at the time people didn't want to have him doing everything his way. You can't have, because remember the teams that turned him down was teams who was like, no man, you're not getting Matt Patricia and you're not getting Josh McDaniels on these teams.
Right.
Do what you want to do. This is not New England. You do it our
Exactly.
way or you can hit the highway. And that's the reason why I feel like he ultimately chose college, which was still not a good move for him.
Loyal to a fault.
It was another good game too, man. It's funny too because Brian Kelly was ready to kill that dude in the media when he was announcing this game. It was a pretty crazy game, but it was just like both teams looked really bad. The defenses look good, but the offenses look terrible, man. The only reason I believe, and I'm gonna be honest with you, is the reason why they won is because we're talking about LSU, is because DJ Lagway was that bad of a passer, man. It's like it's not for everybody to be a college quarterback. And the thing was, I think that he was trying to do too much and put everything on his back, and you're not built for that right now. And I mean, it was impressive, man. You get one touchdown and 5 picks. I'm surprised he's still their quarterback, if he's still their quarterback.
He won't be to do it again next week. But I've been telling you all season, Hugh, Florida cheeks, dog.
Yeah.
Now I got to give them a little credit. They're not total cheats because that defense is
That
decent.
defense ferocious, man.
Definitely 3 or 4 people on that defense that's gonna be playing on Sunday. But that being said, yeah, offensively they're
Not
a
good.
dumpster fire, especially with that kid Noah Way, because ain't no way he should be the quarterback. I can't even see them making him a Gidget back later on down the line. I mean, Florida, they didn't have their share of quarterbacks where, okay, yeah, you could kind of throw, or yeah, you could kind of run and do some things. Shout out to Tim Tebow. But yeah, for him, no, this ain't that. Maybe if you go down to one of the lesser schools, you might be able to do a little something. But the
And
SEC, that ain't gonna get it, bro. And as far as my man Brian Kelly go, bro, you in the SEC. They're gonna ask you questions like that, okay? You should know this by now. Understand, you at LSU, you done had some good success at LSU, but you ain't had the type of success that they trying to get. Remember, they had the great, well, not the late great, but the great Mr. Saban himself that won a national championship there. They expect things. They expect big things. And you just giving them some okay things. That ain't gonna get it done.
yeah, he was pissed too. All they said was he was on not. They wasn't looking good on third down. They looked bad on third down.
Yeah, like I said, I
He
kind of
lost.
understand his frustration with that being the first question they asked. But you can't be frustrated at them asking the question. It
No,
makes
it's
sense.
obvious. And then you had all the blowout games like Indiana crushed Indiana State. I was glad that Michigan, they took the training wheels off my man's Bryce Underwood, but it was just like one of those regular, typical Saturdays that we see in college. I think it might not really be as much better this week coming up, neither. But it was some good games. And
Well,
speaking
I do think we get better this week because we starting to get into the conference play with a lot
of,
of these.
okay,
So I think that'll make it a little better.
how did you feel about the South Florida, the Miami game, man? I thought that South Florida was going to play a little better, but yeah, man, I definitely feel like with Carson back at the realm over there, man, he was smart to do what he did. He felt like his days was numbered in Georgia, and he ended up leaving and going to a team that's built for him, like the University of Miami, and it's definitely working out for that guy, man, because they make him look really good, man.
Not only is it working out, but I say if we was doing the Heisman today, that dude the winner.
Absolutely, because he been balling, man. That's all he really needed, somebody who believed in him and embraced him and what he was trying to do. And
And more importantly, paid him.
paid that brother, man. They paid him well. Quinn
Mhm.
Ewers, man, how that's working out for you?
Well, don't speak on that too soon. He kind of is justified to a degree. Of course, let's talk about it briefly, Hugh. Texas, Arch might not be what y'all thought he was.
Man, he was bad that game. They should have lost to UTEP, honestly.
10 straight incompletions by a person that was predominantly picked to be the Heisman Trophy winner this year. Yeah. I say the only way that brother make it to New York this year is if one of his uncles treat him.
He was that one of your front runners for Heisman Trophy candidate at one point.
You said what now?
Was he one of your Heisman?
He was the guy.
At one point?
He was the guy. I thought it was his. I was so wrong.
And you know why? Let's think about it, E, because I felt like that way myself. A lot of them guys from Texas ain't there to protect him no more. You got no Xavier Worthy and some of them weapons they had before in the
I don't
past.
have some of them big dudes on the offensive
You
line.
don't have them dudes no more, man. You have a team that's basically an up and coming and like a new surrounding. Not like on the other team, that we play, our rival game, that red team, who just basically built within and they still got pretty good nucleus over there, what I could say, and they build pretty good from the development, the NIL, and all the things that they've done well.
Right.
Y'all have that opportunity too, and y'all have that NIL money to actually
Big
bump.
time. That's why the boosters and the donors right now in Texas, they not happy.
I'm surprised
they winning. They not happy.
How bad was it, E? They booed the hell out of your man. And
he deserved it.
No Archie, no Mannings are used to being booed, man, by nothing.
Like that?
Man. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of weight on Archie Manning, man, and I'm interested in seeing how he bounced back. But his stats was really trash, man. He was 14 to 25. He had a touchdown and an interception on 114 yards passing. It was really bad.
And like I said, 10 straight incompletions at one point as well.
That's just atrocious, man.
No. I mean, some people called him a generational talent. No. I think they kid Bryce Underwood is a generational talent. That dude, not so much.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe that name carried more than people gave it.
Right. People thought he'd be better than both Eli and Peyton. I'm sorry, he will not be better than Peyton. That's clear to see. His uncle Eli, maybe. But yeah, no, he will not. He not even Archie, okay? The original Archie Manning.
That's funny. Man, this was a really good one too, man. And I know you ready for this one, but it made me sick to my stomach, this game. Because remember, I don't know if you remember what I texted you. The first thing I gave you was the game wasn't even over yet. They blew it.
Uh-huh.
They blew it. And you should know, because they have a history of blowing damn games. Georgia versus Tennessee. Come on, man. It was one of the best games, man. It was one of the best games I've seen.
I told you it was going to be a good one, y'all.
Damn, it was a good game. And my man's really looked good, too. Joey Aguilar didn't look scared at the big stage, man.
At all.
The problem was, man, at some point you want to say how the kicking was evolutionized and how well they played. Just how they evolved and how they basically took it to the next level. Some point, some dudes just can't handle that type of pressure, man. Their kicker had a time right there in the regulation, at the end of regulation, to walk off Georgia, and he choked. He made it when it didn't count technically, when it was in overtime. But by that time, man, Georgia ran the ball down they throw for a touchdown, man. I was just really shocked in how they just were so scared that they let that game get out of the grasp, man. What the hell happened, man?
They got a little too conservative at the end, I think. That's what really happened. But no, the kid, the kicker, I feel bad for that dude because on the one hand, he just a kid. I mean, that dude took his helmet. I'm like, damn, he looked about 14. But two, you know, you go through something like that on a campus like Tennessee, and it was your fault. I know it had to be a long week of class for that brother, man.
Man,
You came so close to being the life of the party and getting all the goods from every girl on campus to yeah, you just a punk kicker. Get away from me.
I know the teachers and everybody gave it to him, man. You know,
Yeah, like I said, I imagine it was a long week for that guy. Hopefully
when
he
he
got
came on to
a nice
dorm room,
little apartment off campus so he ain't got to be involved too much.
that was a really good game. It definitely had
Yeah,
that
definitely a good game.
twist to it, man.
Absolutely.
And then let's talk about this team. E. We've basically said it. We defended these dudes because they're independent organization. I still don't feel like they deserve to be ranked right now, man. You 0-2, they lost to the U, and then they turned around and they lost to Texas A&M. I don't think Notre Dame should be ranked after losing 2 straight games, man.
Man, I know in an ideal world, Hugh, you absolutely right. Keep in mind, if you look at this week's top 25, you got
Mhm.
18 teams that's either from the SEC or the Big Ten. Make that 19 teams. There's 6 teams that is not, okay? And out of those 6 teams, only one team is an independent contractor. That would be Notre Dame. Remember, Notre Dame get 3 extra style points than any other team in the country. 1, name recognition. You can go anywhere on planet Earth and probably find somebody with some Notre Dame gear. 2, they pay the cost to be the boss, okay? They basically go to the big networks and be like, look, this Notre Dame, you want us on TV. This Notre Dame football. Come on now, Newt Rodney, so everybody play here. Joe Montana, all that. So yeah, they got that cachet. And then 3, because they choose not to choose, people like that about them. That's why they get the following that they get across wherever you go and they play football. You see Notre Dame fans big time in them stands. Do you not?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
because of that, and in the end, this ain't about the quality of the play all the time. Sometimes, more importantly, it's about that money. They will always get a couple extra shots that any other team in the country will not get. So because of that, and looking at their schedule, Hugh, if you see the rest of their schedule, it's
Yes.
got trash, bro. They ain't really playing nobody after that. So I tell y'all now, they win the rest of these games, they in. Still. Whether you hate it or not, they win the rest of them games, they in. Flat out.
I think they can lose 3 games and still be in if they run the table.
Depending on who it is, I would agree.
Basically, do you have anything to add to the NCAA as far as last week?
Again, like I said, just looking at that top 25 this week, and I realized, okay, even out of the teams, because you got like Boise State, people like that. If you one of them mid majors, or hell, HBCU, y'all might start just blowing teams out of existence, okay? Mess around, be 11-1. Y'all just ain't getting in, dog. And it ain't fair. At some point, Hugh, some changes gonna have to be made. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because we've seen teams like what was that one team, the Chandeliers, Costa Rica. Yeah,
Yeah.
gosh, it definitely been in like some type of
Coastal Carolina, there you go.
Carolina. Them dudes, man. Yeah, that team, man. I just feel like they always play well, man, and they'll probably lose a game. Sometimes they go undefeated and they still don't get the recognition they need. But yeah, you're right. Something have to give now, man, to where you can make those teams be protected and have an equal playing field, man, because it's still a little biased when it comes to the rankings. So yeah, they're gonna have to fix
Yeah.
something. Have
So
somebody.
remember, we don't have that problem with college basketball because of one,
No,
how the playoffs are set up with the whole Final Four thing, but also because it's so many teams that get considered in that okay, yeah, we might just be little punk school, Chicago State or whatever, but when the Final Four get here and March Madness, we about to show y'all we the real deal. You ain't gonna get that opportunity And I don't care if you do go up to 16 teams or 24 teams, it just ain't gonna work out the way it need to for college football.
And that's what they're trying to do, get more teams so they can try to have more teams be put in these playoffs. But
And in the end, they won't get more teams the way we need them to. They'll just get more SEC and Big Ten teams in it.
more teams will be leaving, like some of the like Pac-12s and stuff. And then remember, I was telling you, I think it's going to be like that at one point, man. Big
Right.
Ten, SEC down the middle.
Because in the end, it's gonna boil out. Okay, I want to get in. I can't get in the way I need to. SEC, can we be done? Big Ten, can we be done? It's gonna come to that.
Hey, man, that's all I had to say about the NCAA football. If you want, man, we can hit this commercial break and we can get into the NFL.
All right, let's hit these commercials, y'all. When we come back, we will be talking to NFL and what happened in good old week 2. Yeah, I got some things to say about a couple teams. You already know who it is. But yeah, this is the Guru's Sports Session. That's the Guru right there, young Hugh Lee. I'm your boy E-Buck. We'll be back after these words from our Nighthawk Network. You know the motto, Hugh. Nighthawk Network. Our voices for our people.
Hello, hello, hello. It's another glorious day, my T-Steppers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your comforts together because it's time to dish the key. And you're dishing darlings with Big Meat.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling.
Hey, this is your boy E-Buck. And if you're looking for some great desserts, something sweet, something to treat yourself with, please check out my girl Caramel Sweets here in the Metro Detroit area. She can make desserts for your function, your event, or just for that special someone you want to give something nice to. So check her out. It's Caramel Sweets. You can find her on Facebook and Instagram. We appreciate you.
If you're building your dream from scratch, mic in one hand, hustle in the other, this one's for you. Road to Stardom Network and Nighthawk Network present a podcast for the indie by the indie, all genres, all grinds. From hip-hop to metal, jazz to trap, we're breaking boundaries. And it's not just artists. Entrepreneurs, creatives, and self-made bosses, we see you. We're giving you the spotlight. This ain't mainstream, this is your stream. Coming soon. Be ready.
All right, y'all, we are back. This is the Guru Sports Session. That man right there in the red is the Guru, Hugh Lee. I'm your boy E-Buck, producer, co-host extraordinaire, and we are ready to talk some of that NFL. Thank God, week 2 definitely better than week 1.
Yeah, you could tell a lot of people was, getting off that rust, man, because they wasn't planning on doing anything in preseason. But this week,
buddy,
you've seen definitely a pickup in just the gameplay and the intensity. I want to start off by putting some respect on this team name, and it hurts me so much, but I feel like they did what they had to do, and they basically took the risk, and they were going all out to make sure their team was a better team this year. And that's the Thursday night football game, the Washington Commanders versus the Green Bay Packers. That game really surprised me because I didn't feel like Jane Daniels played bad, but they definitely made him look average, and that defense is legit, man. And Michael Parsons definitely is a difference maker, man. When I seen that game, I said, man, At first, it was just going blow for blow, but then once Green Bay started to score, it was like the Commanders couldn't keep up.
Well, one, Commanders don't look quite as good as they did last year. I got to be honest. And Jaden Daniels, he not quite that right now. Look like that sophomore slump hitting him a little bit. Yeah, Packers defense looking good and whatnot. A lot of people high on them Packers right now. With me, I'm still kind of about it because on the one hand, yeah, they got that defense, but I'm still waiting for my man's Jordan Love kind of start doing Jordan Love because much like the Aaron Rodgers and of course the great Brett Favre before him, he does have that tendency to get to being a gunslinger. And I think once they get in some closer games, that's when I'll know if Jordan then grew up or if he gonna revert back to his old self and maybe cost him a game or two. But right now it's looking real good for the Packers. I can't lie.
And then one thing too, when it's considered too the health, man, of a lot of these players, man, because we'll definitely get into it because there's a lot of people who's injured just recently, man.
Key people.
Let's get the let's get to talking right now. Yeah, I want to talk the talk now. We definitely wasn't really as hesitant of a week one loss when the Lions played the Packers because we knew that you can't just play a game without not playing none in preseason or taking any reps on offense and defense and thinking that you were just gonna go in and everything was just gonna be like, how it's supposed to be. They wasn't as crisp, and I believe that rust ended up biting them at the end of the day. That first game, not taken away from Green Bay Packers, though. I gave them credit where credit is due. But in this game, they definitely was feeling some kind of way because I already know everybody after a loss, especially the Detroit Lions. They was hearing about how, yeah, Ben Johnson, they lost him and they lost who they were and they lost their identity, and it was a lot of stuff saying, "Oh man, I didn't think they was going to fall off real bad like that." From Stephen A. and other people like your Dan Orlovsky's who Mr. 4-16 shouldn't have nothing to say in the first place. But it was just good to see them get out there and know now that Ben Johnson was coming back home and sleeping with the enemy that they wanted to show him better than they can tell him in that first game back home. And it was definitely it was more than I can imagine because I definitely had them winning and I think I might have had them as like a touchdown favorite, but damn, when you hang 31 extra points on the team, man, it was like they definitely people were upset because they thought that they ran up the score. But how do you feel about that game in the long run?
Remember that part in the show in the season opener where I said on the Holy Bible that I got to keep it 100 this season? Can I keep it 100 for a second?
Hmm.
Can I be a fan for a second?
Yeah.
And did I promise to go back to being professional about it? All right,
Hmm.
excuse me, sir. Let me put you up out of here. Yeah, all that mess y'all was talking. How you like my Lions now, punks? Yeah, y'all thought we was done. Yeah, the Packers, yeah, I don't know. Jordan, they look better. Yeah, what that tastes like? They open up a whole can of whoopers on them Bears, and y'all hate it. They ain't over. They ain't over. We still got it. We put the deuce up. We How that taste? Ben, you should have stayed your ass at home. Back to you, Hugh.
A lot of people didn't realize too, man, and we talked about that in the past too. Is we actually thought that that wasn't a bad idea to bring John Morton back because a lot of people give Ben Johnson, and no disrespect to Ben Johnson, they give him way too much credit. But a lot of that stuff too had to do with John Morton, man, and you could definitely see that with the emergence of how the Denver Broncos looked last year, man. A lot of that because the first thing I was saying, man, who was their offensive coordinator? Bo Nix looked pretty good and the team looked pretty sound on offense. And then after that, it was like, Johnny Morton, he was here working with the Lions. So they think everything, since it was like a lot of gadget and trick plays that was going on from being that it was 100% him. But that's when we heard from Dan Campbell that, John Morton had some of the, say on some of those like trick plays and some of the moves they did. But they just went just like traditional. They basically didn't really have to do too many trick plays to punch them in the mouth. And it was just a really pretty good effort on both parts, man. Offense and defense. Because the defense at first looked like they were lagging in the first half, and then they shut it down that second half. But yeah, it was actually a pretty good game on both sides, and it was pretty cool too to have like Jimmy Fallon and a lot of people here and enjoying themselves in the crowd. That made it even better to me to just see the excitement. And definitely the home games are always incredible, man, because when you go to them home games, man, it's like damn near a playoff game every game.
Mad respect to my man Jimmy Fallon for showing up in the D and showing us much, much love. Okay, I always appreciate when people come here and they tell people about the Detroit that I love, not the little mess you always see on TV. Yeah, those things do happen here in my city, but it's far more good than bad going on in these streets. Okay, back to the game. Now, yeah, Chicago, they got some work to do, no doubt about it.
We thought that they'd be a little better this year anyway,
I
and then that's not really that much to say.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because if you listen to some of the Chicago sports talk, because, sometimes if I'm able to, I like to listen to what the opposing fans thought of the game. Man, in Chicago, they not happy. They not happy. Some of that same mess the Lions fans was talking last week about by Dan Campbell. Or they already ready to string up my mans after 2 weeks. Like, yeah, he got to go. Yeah, I don't like that kid Williams, the nail polish and all that. Yeah, get that punk up out of here. Yeah, they not happy in Chicago right now about them Bears. Trust and believe.
I definitely humbled myself after the game because we still got a lot to go on from, man. And
Yeah, it may be a whole different story this week, but we'll get to that.
get to that. Formerly Detroit Lion Matthew Stafford with a game that I didn't really too much care for, but we know that this team was going to have growing pains, man. By the way, that score with the Lions was like really bad, 52-21, and they had a 31-point lead, and nobody expected that. I gave credit and said a touchdown lead, but I didn't expect that to happen. But with the Rams and the Titans, like I said, man, it's going to be growing pains for Cam Ward because it's not that much talent over there, man. But Stafford looked pretty sharp, man. That final score was 33-19. But how do you like the new addition of, my man's Devontae Adams over there?
Man, Stafford always played pretty decent when he got a quality receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, for the most part of his career, he didn't have that. Whether it was Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua, or of course the great Megatron, you give him somebody that he could target like that. That dude always had that weapon. That weapon is that rifle arm of his. Okay, so bad back or not, if that arm working, he in the building. Okay,
Agree.
so yeah, understand. And some Lions fans not gonna like it, but Matthew is a future Hall of Famer. Period.
This was a game right here, that was really bad. And I don't know who we picked in this one. I think I might have picked the Bengals, barely. But the Bengals playing the Jaguars, man, I still feel like the Jaguars had that game in the bag until they didn't. I was really shocked that they actually didn't pull that one off. What was even more surprising to me is this is where the injuries kick in now. Joe Burrow being out for 3 to 4 months is not looking good for the
Joe
Cincinnati.
Burrow's done. Okay, let's not even sugarcoat it with that 3 to 4 months. His season's over.
Mm-hmm. And remember what I said, man? He's played for like 4, maybe 5 years now. He went to the playoffs before, but what he have really done after that, man? They'll start off slow and they'll look bad. In the end, he'll be so close to making the playoffs to not making the playoffs. So, as much as I feel like how talented he is, I can't just keep riding that Joe Burrow train and saying, "Oh, he the truth, man." When he's always injured. Or they'll have a really bad start and they don't make it to the playoffs, man. It's starting to get to the point where I'm starting to look over that dude and feel like, what has he done for me lately?
Okay, Cincinnati, I got to invoke a name that you probably not going to want me to bring up, but I got similar thoughts. Y'all remember that dude Carson Palmer? It's starting to be kind of that same story. When well, very well. Top 5 quarterback in the league. When not so good, not so good. Understand, Cincinnati, you got a small shot in the dark because y'all do have one of the better backups in the league. That dude Browning is decent, but he is also very mistake prone, as you saw in that game. So it's maybe a long season for y'all, considering the division you in. But yeah, if you think about y'all's going to the big one this year, nope, that walked out the door when Joe limped out.
The Flacco Ball. Cleveland Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens. That game wasn't even close, and that's why we're kind of humble right now because we looking at the competition right now going on for next week. And Lamar Jackson didn't really have to do as much, but what he did was very effective, man. He was on 225 yards in the air, 19 to 29, and 4 touchdowns, man. And he just looked clean that game. He didn't really have to run or do any scrambles. He did most of his damage in the pocket, which a lot of people don't give him credit for. Yes, I still feel like when it's necessary, he needs to use his legs, but it wasn't really necessary in this game because he picked that defense apart. And that final score, 41-17, is definitely what I'm expecting right now from the Cleveland Browns. But then I still feel like, hey, if Myles Garrett happy with that money and he settled for that money, I'm happy. Misery needs company. I hope you happy where you at, brother.
Well, don't speak so fast. Trade deadline coming. Who knows?
Mhm.
But look, told y'all, Baltimore the real deal. Okay, they the real deal. Keep in mind, for all intents and purposes, they should be 2-0 right now. They just lost that game against Buffalo by about that much. And it's crazy because now they don't even have the super leg kicker. They just doing it with all the other weapons they got. And they do have weapons, including two of the biggest ones in the league. When you talk about young Action Jackson and of course the big fella, King
And
Henry. So yeah, uh the key is that they got a decent defense to go with it. But bottom line, if you can't stop that offense, you're probably not gonna win.
you're gonna be in for a long
And
game.
trust to believe, more times than not, they're gonna get there.
Absolutely. This is where another injury happened, man, with Justin Fields with the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets, man. We already was feeling happy for Fields because how well he played that game one. And it was like both teams came out winners, even though they were 0-1, because we liked the emergence of how they trusted in Justin Fields. And in the second game, he was injured. I don't know how long he's going to be out for. But the Bills just kept chugging along, man. That final score was 30-10, and I still feel like the Jets got problems depending on how long Justin Fields gonna be out.
Man, I was feeling pretty good for a boy, at least as good as I could feel for a person that went to that school down south. But yeah, I like that kid Justin Fields. He showed a lot of moxie, and I think he was starting to piece some stuff together. And you know, it's not over. He only out for a few weeks, so it ain't the end of the world for him. But yeah, I'm curious to see. I don't even know who the backup is for the Jets, but yeah, I don't think he gonna make out too good in the end. That offense worked for the Jets because they had the person to work it out. I think whoever else is taking the spot, maybe not so much.
Yeah, I think Tyrod Taylor gonna be
Okay,
starting.
well, yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit of that back because you know I always did like him as a backup. He
Yeah,
definitely also is one of the better backups in the league, but you know he is limited, and we know that. Otherwise, he would have been a starter somewhere by now.
agree. This was a game right here that if we didn't have to speak about, we wouldn't have. But yeah, man. New England Patriots ended up making the Miami Dolphins 0-2 this season, and definitely the sky falling there in Miami because I've been hearing rumors if they within a 6 game don't look as good or look as bad as they have been, because everybody still feel like right now from just basically the talking heads and people around the NFL, they think that the team just gave up on Mike McDaniels, man. So they're saying by that 6 game, if they don't improve, they're going to get rid of him and the GM and everybody else in the building. So that game, I felt like Tua played a little better, but it was just surprising to me. Yeah, we didn't never say nothing bad about New England's defense, but the offense actually stepped up and pulled this game out for them, man. And that final score was 33-27. But I was just really surprised because Miami is playing at such a bad pace and not even nowhere near what we thought they would be.
I'm thinking we're gonna look at this a couple years from now, and Tua's gonna be a fine backup somewhere or coaching somewhere, because his days is numbered. And as far as that whole scenario that you just broke down for Miami, let me quote the great Randy Travis: "It's just a matter of time."
I can see that. I can definitely see that. We're going to talk about the San Francisco 49ers and the New Orleans Saints. Now, I had no idea who was their backup quarterback, and it's Mac Jones. But
Mac Jones.
it don't matter who their quarterback was, because the Saints is one of them teams that's that bad. But
Sorry, you got to call them by their nickname at this point.
Aints.
The Aints.
And the funny thing was, Mac Jones didn't look that bad though. What was he, 26 or 39 with 3 scores?
You know why, Hugh? They got the quarterback whisperer over there.
They do.
Kid Shanahan made a lot of quarterbacks look real good. I'm sure Sam Darnold should be thanking him every day for what he did for him in his career.
Yeah, I definitely think because Matt Jones, I just felt like he got thrown to the wolves in New England and they didn't care. It was just actually cool to see how he basically, rejuvenated himself. And then, like you said, being over there with Kyle Shanahan, if Brock Purdy out for another week or so, man, and he continued to play good, he probably find himself on another team as a feasible backup, man. And speaking of guys, man, who I thought was going to be backups, we're going to talk about him in a minute because that name stick with me now. We're going to have to probably call him that. Maybe you call him that after he win a couple more games, but I want to get into this game because this was a weird game first and foremost before I get into that one. The New York Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the New York Giants had every chance to win this game, but they found a way to lose it. And unfortunately, I feel like even though Russ had one of his better games, 450 yards and 3 touchdowns, that reception was costly, man. Like he was trying to do too much. And I think he just should have slowed the game down because they could have just ran on the clock and then kicked the field goal. But he wanted to do more than, what was expected of him, which nobody expected him to get off like that, him and Malik Neighbors. But yeah, him trying to do too much and got that pick, man, ended up costing him that game. And that final score was 40-37. But in overtime, it was funny too because I said, "Man, is it really?" Because when we saw that first game, we was like, "Dallas may not be that bad," but then to have Russ look like he was an MVP candidate right now, I don't think that was too good. What is your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, Russ was cooking Sunday, bro. Y'all better let him cook. That being said, it's a few things I didn't like. One, the fact that despite the fact that Russ was cooking, they still felt the need to throw them little packages in for Jackson Dart. You throwing off the whole offense doing that. Most teams that do stuff like that tend not to make out well in that scenario. Two, yeah, Russ, he did a little too much, but think about it. He playing for his future now.
Agree.
And Russ's mind, he still got a few years left in him. And the Giants, man, you just a placeholder till we get Jackson together. So them two things gonna constantly conflict with each other. Not to mention that kid Dabo, he definitely looking at his job scenario because clearly, I think for him it's playoffs or you up out of there, plain and simple.
Agree.
And in that division, that's gonna be harder to do. Very hard to do now that the Cowboys actually playing better and Washington kind of, but still, decent. But yeah, that's what I saw there. But yeah, another thing, Malik Neighbors, welcome to superstardom, sir. I think that was your coming out party this week.
Yeah.
And I think we might have to start calling LSU wide receiver U at this point.
I definitely have been, man, because they developed too many guys. When you got Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, you got Brian Thomas, and guys like that playing on that level, yeah, that's definitely wide receiver U, without a doubt.
Don't forget the great Justin Jefferson, absolutely.
Man, I definitely was going to talk about Justin Jefferson, man, but at the same time, I got to dig a little bud too because them growing pains was there in that game. But yeah, man, let's go on and talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Seattle Seahawks. We thought this was going to be the Seahawks that played in week 1, but obviously week 2 they basically made their self known. pretty good game at one point, man. But you can't really blame a lot of it. Like, oh man, the Steelers lost this game. Whoever that dude was who muffed that, special teams play should be off that team right now. I know my man Aaron Glenn wasn't playing no games when that guy, what was his name, Xavier Gibson, when he muffed that, when he caught the ball and then when he got up and nobody touched him and let the ball go, and then he turned around and he had a fumble and Glenn got rid of him. But at that point, man, you just let the ball go into the end zone and don't try to do anything to retrieve it and the other team recover and get the touchdown. Yeah, they need to get rid of that dude. That was kind of the difference of the game because they were going blow for blow. But then you still got to give credit where credit is due because Sam Darnold had a pretty decent game. Besides the 2 picks, he had 295 yards and he had 2 scores. And then, Aaron basically did the same thing. He had 203 yards. He scored a touchdown, but then he had 2 picks on the game too. So, yeah, it was more or less like the Steelers, yeah, they lost that game at home, but I believe that they'll adjust because it just seems like with Mike Tomlin as the man in charge, it seems like they always are playoff bound. Whether they had this game right here that happened where they had a chance and, they kind of blew it, I still feel like they're going to compete.
Any given Sunday, that was pretty much that. But for the Steelers, we fall down, but we get up. They'll be all right. Because like I said, when all is said and done, I don't know how Tomlin keep managing to do it, but he does it. When all is said and done, they will win more games than they lose yet again.
Absolutely. Let's get into this next game, E. Well, we had a pretty good game, too. It wasn't really that bad. The Denver Broncos versus the Indiana Colts, a.k.a. Indiana Jones, was in the building. Yeah, man, that was a crazy game. It was back and forth, and I thought at one point that the Denver Broncos was going to pull away with it. But it was just surprising to me because Daniel Jones didn't even hesitate, man. He didn't flinch in that game. And that he did just enough for them to win that game at the last minute, too. It was a really exciting game. But what was so crazy about that game was if Denver would have just stayed the pack, man, and didn't make that crazy mental mistake, that they would have won that game because when the guy tried to block, he used someone and tried to leap over him. You can't do that anymore in the NFL. If you do leap, you got to leap over him and don't touch him. Clearly don't touch him and try to stop the field goal. But at this point, when he touched the person on his team to get leverage, they called it back. The dude had a second chance of redemption, and he ended up making that second kick. He wasn't going to miss that. That was down the middle. And that final score was 29-28, and that was a really good game, though.
Yeah, you like that nickname, Indiana Jones. It's not just you. It's starting to catch on. A lot of the talking heads starting to call him that, too. So, yeah, I imagine they'll have the T-shirts and all that in Indianapolis. Good for you, Naptown. You got somebody to believe in. But, yeah, long story short, it kind of looks bad on that dude, Dabo, again, over there in New York. Because you're having all these quarterback troubles, but look like you let a good one get away. That puts you one step closer to being out the door, my guy. You better hope Indiana Jones revert back to some of that stuff he was doing last year. Otherwise, yeah, they're going to look, oh, yeah, you messed up and you let dude get away and now they in the playoffs and we ain't. Yeah, you got to go.
Because it's 2 things I realized on this Indianapolis Colts team. They got a good offensive line, man.
And they always have.
Always. And he's not getting touched most times. That's what's making him just play at the top of his potential. It wasn't like that in New York. He was always getting sacked. But he get a chance to actually throw the ball now. And then that defense was giving him extra chances too. So, yeah, man, I definitely want to see how this year pan out for him. But unfortunately, on the other hand, it looks like Anthony Richardson probably have to find him a new home.
Yeah, they looking good for young Ant at the moment.
I want to get on and talk about the Carolina Panthers and the Cardinals game because at one point I was like, this game was a stinker. It was 9-27 at the fourth quarter, and then that's when I seen Bryce Young kind of get off and throw those 3 touchdowns. The issue is right now that team still got a lot of issues and problems they got to take care of. That O-line didn't give him no protection. You see, it was like 3 or 4 sacks that he got. before the game was over with, and they gave them every chance to win that game. But it was just like it was too much of the Cardinals defense. They held them, man, and a lot of penalties, a lot of just bad mistakes in that game. One of the worst games on paper to me. But yeah, I still feel like right now, man, they got to figure out what they're gonna do in Carolina, man. Whether it's gonna be get rid of the quarterback, but they're gonna have to, rebuild and just do that whole team. So,
I mean, it's not as much of Bryce's fault as people might want to put on it.
but I would what I mean by that, and not trying to throw him under the bus. At least try to give him to a team while y'all still have a chance to, have some of the guys on your team that you can actually get something for. Because like you said, man, he looked good in that game, man. But it's like, man, you don't got no whole
I
line.
only saw bits and pieces of that game, but I really thought at one point, I wonder what Bryce would look like on this Cardinals team.
Yeah.
Keeping in mind that him and Kyler Murray in terms of size comparison,
I
kind of
like.
similar.
Mhm.
I mean, granted, he don't have the athleticism of a Kyler Murray
No.
or the arm, but I think on a decent team that's kind of set up like that, where it would be to his advantage, and he have some better weapons on the outside, I think he might just be decent.
Yeah, because think about it. This was his stats right here, man. 328 yards a year, 35 of 55. He had 3 touchdowns and he only had 1 pick. And like in that fourth quarter, man, I got to make sure, man, to get with you because you're gonna have to see that on your NFL Plus, the NFL Rewind. You got to check that game out because when I seen that last quarter, it really got interesting because it wasn't a good game until that fourth quarter when he got the comeback.
I must admit, several of the games this week in NFL did kind of have that tone where they was kind of snoozers until that fourth quarter, particularly some of the later games. But yeah, 35 for 55, impressive and not at the same time. 35, 330, that's good. Missing 20 incompletions, not so good.
Then the thing is, too, speaking of the games, who we seen it was kind of sluggish, but this was a defensive battle because it wasn't really a lot going on in this one either, which kind of surprised me too. You called it. You said that the Eagles was going to be over the Chiefs. I didn't think the Chiefs was going to mess around and lose at home, but it's like the sky falling out there in Kansas City right now, man. That final score was 20-17. What was your thoughts on the game?
Okay, now look, people, y'all know what this is, right? Y'all know what this is. Now we at that point in the world that is the Chiefs where either you love them or you hate them. It's a familiar spot because any team that wins a lot, particularly on the championship level, they get to that point. We done been there with teams like the Warriors, with teams like the Miami Heat. We done been there with teams like the Yankees back in the day, with the Dodgers now. When they get to winning like this and they start to not win so much, y'all loving it. Because some of y'all to the point now where you hate the Chiefs. You hate them because they constantly on TV. You hate them because they constantly advertising on the various commercials. You hate them, of course, because of Tay-Tay and young Travis Kelce. Some of y'all can't stand them just based on that alone. But you hate them. You hate Mahomes. You hate his smoking hot wife. You hate the whole scenario, okay? That being said, let's look at it for what it really is. It's a good team with some key people out right now, okay? They should have won that game, Hugh, and you know they should have won that game.
I picked them to win, so I wasn't really too happy to see that.
Right. If not for that Travis Kelce blunder, they probably would have won that game.
It was like damn, like that's not Travis Kelce-ish.
That was very weird, man. Of course, if you hate the Chiefs, as some of y'all do hate the Chiefs, y'all had to love that. That's why they lost.
He bobbled up the ball. I couldn't believe that. He had the ball, and it's just like
it wasn't even so much a bobble. It's kind of like, here you go.
If he just would have kept running straight, rather than stopping, that would have been the game.
Right, but see, then you got to remember, y'all, these are the types of games last year that Kansas City found a way to win.
Absolutely.
That's all that people talk about. Man, they always win in some old crazy, fluky way. It ain't like that this year.
They
So,
lost these last 2 games in
but they
crazy.
was in both of those games, y'all. And remember, like I said, they got some key pieces missing. So, you know my saying, because I love it from the great late Rudy Tomjanovich, never underestimate the heart of a champion. And trust and believe, she's still our championship material, okay? So, yeah, they 0-2 now, and granted, we already know the statistic. 82% of all teams that go 0-2 usually don't make the playoffs. I think this is going to be the exception.
The Patriots made the playoffs on 2 before, twice, and won the actual Super Bowl.
Indeed.
Check this out, E. Optimism is coming right now for that team. It's a possibility that Xavier Worthy might play this game. I just seen that popped up on my phone, so he might be playing in that game. And the competition is not really nothing that I'm afraid of. I think that if he is, they'll win that game convincingly, and we'll talk about that when we do like the predictions. But
right, and we know Rasheed Rice will be back sooner than later. So,
and
don't think y'all got over on them yet.
I want to get into the growing pains, E, which we said was going to happen this year. Atlanta Falcons versus the Minnesota Vikings, and here go another injury, man. I believe now that J.J. McCarthy is going to be out for like 2 to 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain, but you got to give credit where credit is due. The Atlanta Falcons defense was ferocious, and by him being technically a rookie in his first year really playing, yeah, he got exposed in some ways. What he did, that magic he did week 1 didn't happen week 2. And that game 22-6 didn't even really justify how bad of a game that they had. And speaking of Justin Jefferson, man, he usually have really good games. And in that game, he had 3 receptions for 81 yards, and he didn't even get the ball to him as much. So I was really surprised in that game.
And if you saw that game near the end, they panted that brother, he was not happy.
Yeah, and I was definitely surprised because, we never really see him get upset like that. So, yeah, man, some changes are going to have to be made or something's going to have to be done. The one thing is, too, let's see what Carson Wentz do as the backup and how he Justin Jefferson, man, because that might cause the fate of my man J.J. McCarthy to just sit back and learn again for another year. What are your thoughts on that, E?
I think it could boil down to some type of quarterback controversy, depending on how it work out these next couple weeks. Carson Wentz, he ain't been a starter for quite some time now, but he always seem to find his way on somebody's squad as the backup. It's because he's 6'5", and you got that big arm that he got, and that somewhat scramble ability, you still got a shot in this league. So, it's still being Minnesota, and of course, their head coach is pretty good at working with quarterbacks as well. It could be interesting. But young JJ, my advice to you is heal up. Don't even come back 80%, 90%. I mean, it's still your job when you get back.
Let's get into the doubleheader now that we had on Monday, man. It wasn't as good as I expected it to be, but at the same time, the Buccaneers game at the end actually got good. You be on the phone. I said, "Oh man, that might be the nail." And then you said they probably gave Baker a little too much time, and that's what happened.
Absolutely.
Was it like 1:23 left? And then
the whole thing, Hugh, when they missed that 2-point conversion at the end in the fourth quarter,
killed them. That's what you said.
Because right now, this version of C.J. Stroud,
yeah, man, and it's like I forgot some of the pieces they had over there. I knew Nick Chubb, but then I was like, damn, Christian Kirk hurt. And it's like they've been having a lot of banged up guys too. That O-line still ain't really that good either, even though the defense is working.
Not.
But that's still an issue over there.
I mean, granted, they got a stud at wide receiver. That Nico Collins, a mug, boy. He kept them in that game.
Yeah, and then I think that that definitely helped, and he was the X factor of that team. But
absolutely.
Just Baker, man. They showed his stats, 22 touchdowns in overtime or in the fourth quarter. And now let's put that 23 on there because he took them all the way down the field and he won that game for them. The weird part was to me, E, and I know you probably could justify this for me because I still think that they looked at it like, 6 seconds left, anything's possible. We don't want to give them an opportunity to kick a field goal and tie the game and take it into overtime. But it was 6 seconds left. So I thought, man, they should have just went for the field goal rather than go for the 2 points.
Man, all I know is Baker Mayfield, well done, sir. Well done. You have resurrected your career on a very high plane. People wrote you off, man. Remember, you got booted out of Cleveland. You barely made a way in Carolina. You know, then that fateful day with the Rams, people saw a little something in you. And now here you are, one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League on a team that if y'all play like that, you're probably gonna make the playoffs again. I'm proud of that brother, man. He you
Yeah,
know, he could have bitched up and not did so well, but somewhere down the line, he matured and became a real man and a real leader, and it's showing now. I'm
he,
proud of him.
he got that grit and that never give up attitude.
Absolutely, he got the big pay lotus, bruh.
That's what makes Cleveland look so bad right now as we speak. 'Cause
One of many things, sir.
then
One of
you look
many.
at Carolina and say how bad they was, how they handled that with him and Sam Darnold, and then they turn around and end up being respectable quarterbacks, man. But I think more or less, I could say that about Baker than I could Sam Darnold, which he's starting to finally get that rep. But yeah, for him to go out and do what he did that game, man, in the fourth quarter, I definitely expected it, and now I'm looking too, and I'm like, what's gonna happen with Chris Godwin when he come back? I know they're gonna give him an opportunity, but Luka been playing lights out, man, and they have a pretty good receiving core without him right now. So yeah, I'm just imagining when he come back, how dangerous that team gonna be.
Yeah, and as much as I hate to admit it, I guess that team down south you consider wide receiver you as well because they didn't have some good ones come up.
And then another injury again, man, defensive end, Kalijah Cansey, man. He right now, I don't know how long he's gonna be out. They said they feared that he might be out for the rest of the season with a torn pec muscle.
Unfortunate, very unfortunate. Like I said, these things change the course of people's seasons.
And then my man's Aaron Jones, I heard, is out now too, man. And I think it's gonna be for a minute because he had like a hamstring injury, so that might be 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt them.
I want to get to the last game. It wasn't really that exciting, and I looked at this, and we thought the Raiders would improve a little bit. But if I feel like if Geno Smith goes back to this Geno Smith with 180 yards, he was 24-43, which is a lot of passes and 3 interceptions. Nah, I don't think so, man. And Hubbard did just enough to win with the 242. 19-27 and 2 touchdowns, but we got to give credit where credit is due, man. That kid from TCU who we knew and we seen personally, which I wasn't too happy when we saw him when they ended up, winning against us. But Quentin Johnston, man, that dude looked pretty good, man. And he just seemed like he always found his way into the end zone. So, yeah, but it was just that defense is better too when you look at Coach Harbaugh, because he built from the O line and the D line, and then he build up from there. But when you got Quentin Johnston, who people gave up on 2 years ago, who's one of the elite guys right now in the last 2 weeks. And then you turn around and you get Keaton Allen back, who found his way in the end zone, and then Lad McConkey, who's just one of those gadget players, man, who remind you of a Hunter Winfrey, Wes Welker type, man. Yeah, man, this team is going to be deadly, man. Right now in the division where Kansas City usually be king, they're 2-0 right now. What are your thoughts about them right now?
Man, Quentin Johnson just needed somebody to believe in him, bro. The talent was there. We know that. And
Mhm.
Harbaugh believes in that dude, and that's why he is thriving right now. And speaking of Harbaugh, man, y'all better start putting some respect on all them Harbaugh's names. Them Harbaugh's not a coach football, okay? Have we not established that by now? I mean, his brother been in the league forever, winning championships. His father was a high school football coach legend, and now here he is. And some people don't like how he come off as a little gritty and kind of get out my face like. But when all is said and done, all that do is go places and win.
Yeah, you do.
Every place he's been, whether it's college or NFL, he has won. Put some respect on Coach Harbaugh's name, dog.
Yeah, aka Coach Khaki himself, man. That dude definitely
Absolutely.
deserve all the escalades he been getting. You already know what time it is now, E man. We're gonna go through and we're gonna just, Say who we got right now, man. We're gonna start in
All
college.
right, now hold on, because
I want you to get your
I
paper.
heard last week that we didn't give people enough time to go get their stuff. So
Oh
we're
yeah.
gonna take another quick little commercial break. When we come back, it's prediction time, y'all. Now last week did good in college, pro not so much. Let's see if we can improve this week. All right, y'all. When we come back, week 3 predictions in NFL, week 4 predictions in NCAA. This is Guru Sports Session. He talks sports his way. It's the Guru's perspective. All right, y'all, we are back. It is prediction time, y'all. Let's get them in. He's going to give you the things, and we're going to go. Remember, y'all, if y'all actually betting these, damn point spreads, just bet the money line. Always better to bet the money line. All right, go forward.
All right, you got Michigan and Nebraska. Number 21, Michigan versus Nebraska. They got Michigan right now with 1.5 point favor.
Damn, that Michigan going to win that game by about a touchdown and some change.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not drinking too much of the blue and yellow Kool-Aid because of what I saw last week. It's just Nebraska decent, but Michigan a couple notches ahead of them. I think we're going to see that this week.
I'm gonna roll with Michigan too, and I'm gonna go with that touchdown. I'm gonna go 7.5 on that one.
I'm going to go about 10.
Number 17, Texas Tech versus number 16, Utah. Damn, this might be the game of the week.
I told y'all, I'm going to say it again. Don't sleep on Texas Tech. They done showed you what they talking about. Money well spent down there so far. I think, yet again, we're going to get a quality effort from Texas Tech, but my mind just won't let me pick them this week.
Yeah,
I got to go Utah, man.
I'm going Utah, and I'm gonna take the points with the 3.5 because I think it's gonna be a good one.
I'm going to go with the Utah straight up.
We don't even need to play with this game. I got Tennessee as a 38.5 point favor against UAB.
Why are we even picking this game? Did we even have to go there? What a
Or-
waste of our time.
Oregon versus Oregon State.
Now, y'all already know them state rivalry games hit different now because Oregon State always going to feel some type of way now because of how Oregon and all them left them and the Pac-12 stinking by themselves pretty much. That being said, they can feel how they want to feel. Oregon going to tap that out.
I got Oregon. I got the 34.5 points myself.
I am not taking them points, though.
We don't have to do
game. It's got to be closer than that.
Florida. I have them by 44.5, and that's all I got to say about that.
Florida got to do something this week.
No, I should have said Florida State. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, in that case, yeah, I'm with you.
I got them by 44.5.
Who they playing?
Come on, E. Kent State.
Good luck, buddy.
Number 22, Auburn versus number 11, Oklahoma. And they have Oklahoma as a 6.5 point favor. I'm going to go under, but I'll take Oklahoma at home.
Well, we done seen Oklahoma. I just got a strain, but that game going to be a little bit closer than we think.
Yeah, that's why I'm not taking them 6 points.
I'll be surprised if it come down to the fourth quarter.
Tulane versus Ole Miss. They have Ole Miss by 13.5. I'll take those points.
I'm not taking them points. I think Tulane going to show up a little bit, but I still got Ole Miss in the end.
Purdue versus Notre Dame. They have Notre Dame at home by 26.5. I'm going to go under that.
Well, good people.
Because I don't trust Marcus Freeman right now.
Here we go. That's kind of a rivalry game, sort of, but Purdue ain't been Purdue in quite some time. I got the Irish.
Temple versus Georgia Tech. I got Georgia Tech by the 23.5.
Well, Q always been high on Georgia Tech, so I got to agree that Temple, not so much.
Okay, even South Carolina Unranked South Carolina now versus 23 Mizzou. I'm gonna go with 23 Mizzou, and I'm gonna take the 10.5.
I'm going Mizzou. I can't go with them points though. I think that's gonna be a close one.
Yeah, and it's a rivalry game. This is what I meant, Ian. I apologize for this one, and I'm a little shocked on the points on this one. They have Florida versus Miami. Now, this is a hell of a rivalry game, but they only have Miami by 7.5. I'm gonna go over that. I got them by 14 and a
And
half.
I think Miami whooping them by at least a couple touchdowns.
Mhm.
I,
I
you
got
know, I'm
them there.
very down on Florida.
I take that 14 and a half myself, E.
That's a can of whoop ass.
Hey, this one, I think we might agree on this one, E. Number 9, Illinois versus Indiana. Number 19 ranked Indiana. I got Indiana on this one, and I'm gonna take them as the 5.5 point favorite.
Man, both them damn teams overrated, okay? They only rank that high because they are in the Big Ten and one of the better teams. I'm going with Indiana as well because, out of the overrated, I think Illinois is very overrated.
I got Vanderbilt by 35 and a half. They're playing Georgia State.
Man, about time you start putting some respect on their name, I don't think they're winning by that much, though. I think they're going to show them a little grace. That's why.
SC Louisiana versus LSU. Number 3 ranked LSU. I got LSU by 42 and a half.
Again, why are we even picking these? I hate that the SEC be playing these crap games. Complete crap.
And that's why I said I probably wouldn't watch a lot of this week unless they're ranked teams.
I ain't watching none of that mess.
And Sam Houston versus Texas, and they got Texas by 40 and a half. I'm going under.
No disrespect to my cousin's team. Sorry, but yeah, you already know. Need I even say it?
All right, E, let's hit this NFL right now. Tomorrow we'll start off with let me get you ready first. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. The Miami Dolphins versus the Buffalo Bills. They got the Bills by 11 and a half, and I'm going to go over with the Bills.
That's a lot for an NFL game. You going over?
Yeah.
But I can see it, though. I can see it.
I don't trust the Dolphins right now.
Yeah, that might be the beginning of the end for them.
Cincinnati Bengals versus the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to take the Vikings at home. I'll take the 2.5 points.
Ooh, and both the quarterbacks out.
Yeah, it's on Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. That's going to be a funky game, E, now that I think about it.
So I like Minnesota's defense better, so I kind of got to go with Minnesota on that.
Absolutely. All right, E, you got this used to be a good rivalry. Pittsburgh Steelers versus New England Patriots. They got Pitt only by 1.5 points. I'm gonna go over that. I'm gonna go with a 7 points.
On that rock? Come on now. These are the type of games Pittsburgh win to get to that record where they win more than they lose.
Absolutely. You got your man's the Indianapolis Colts, aka Indiana Jones versus Tennessee Titans. I'm going over the 4.5 points. And
I like that dude, Daniel Jones, don't you? I feel like Danny Dimes better than Indiana Jones myself.
Hey, that's funny though, man. Indiana Jones is hilarious.
Okay, so yeah, of course I'm going Indiana. Titans is
they got the Houston Texans versus the Jaguars. I'm gonna go with the Jaguars. I'm gonna take that 1.5 points.
It's about time that my man Travis Hunter do a little something. Been very underwhelming such far.
Pretty much.
I think this might be that game. I'm gonna go to Jaguars.
The Falcons versus the Panthers. You know I'm going with the Falcons, and I'm gonna take the 5.5 points.
Now you hold on there, Hugh. I don't know. Sometimes when them South teams play each other, it be a little different, okay? Don't get me wrong. I still got the Falcons, but don't be surprised they beat that spread.
Okay.
What's on with the Falcons?
The Rams versus the Eagles. They got the Eagles with a 3.5 point favor. I haven't really been that impressed with the Eagles really quite much this year, but I'm gonna take the 3.5 points at home.
I'm like much of the talking heads have this week going with the Rams. You know, that's the one team that the Eagles play, and the Rams be right there with them. I think because of their situations right now, I think the Rams could pull this off, man. I'm going with the Rams with the upset, baby.
The New York Jets versus the Buccaneers. I'm going to take them 6.5 points for Tampa Bay.
Man, you seen what Baker looked like, and that man that's hurt over there on the other side. Got to go with the Bucs.
Las Vegas Raiders versus the Commanders. This is going to be a game that's going to be funky too, but I'll take the Commanders at home with the 3.5.
And understand it's only 3.5 because Jay Daniels might not play this one. So
Absolutely.
even if he don't, it don't matter.
For sure.
Raiders, they ain't ready.
And that's all I really have, E, man. Anything else you want to add on?
That's all the picks.
Yes, sir.
What was the Monday night game?
Oh, damn. I'm tripping, E, man.
Yeah, you is.
I'm tripping. The Packers versus the Browns.
Oh yeah, you missed a few games, my guy.
A lot of them I missed. I'm going
Okay, Packers and the Browns.
to take Green Bay
Come
with
on.
7.5.
Quit playing with me.
Broncos versus the Chargers. I'm going to go with the Chargers at home with the 2.5, E.
I'm only going with the Chargers because they're at home. This should actually be a good game.
Yes. I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos pull it out.
Would not be surprised at all.
Saints and the Seahawks. You know I ain't going with the Aints. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I'm going to take the 7.5 on this one.
Don't waste my time watching that one. Ain't going to do it this week either.
Whoo, this is going to be a good one. The Cardinals and 49ers. I'm going to go with the Cardinals in an upset, and I'm going to take the 2.5 points with the Cardinals.
That usually is a pretty good game for whatever reason. And I, too, am going to go with the Cards in that.
E, you got the Chicago Bears versus the Dallas Cowboys. They got the Cowboys by 1.5.
Oh, man, that's a hard game for them to have to deal with after they took that butt whooping from us.
Mm-hmm.
I think another butt whooping is in store.
I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys by that 1.5.
I'm going with the boys.
This was the game I was telling you about, a revival.
Man, you missed all these games. What was you doing?
Dude, the Chiefs versus the Giants. I'm going to take the Chiefs, and I'm going to take the 6.5. E.
Chiefs versus the Giants. You got who?
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Chiefs by the 6.5.
Well,
Especially if Baker really going to be back.
Based on how the Chiefs usually do things, would not be surprised if they don't make that point spread, but I got them winning that game.
Yeah, I was tripping, because, I missed out, especially on this game.
You basically missed all the afternoon game. I got you.
The Monday night football game.
Exactly.
The Detroit Lions versus the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to take the Ravens at home, but I'm going to take them. I'm going to go under the 4.5.
As soon as he said that, my head hurt. Because, damn it, I want to be a fan and say, I got Lions all day long, but I can't do that. Not. Remember, I put it on the Bible. I got to keep it 100. I don't like this game for us this week, y'all. Bottom line is we don't tend to play well against mobile quarterbacks, and don't nobody get more mobile than Action Jackson. That being said, remember a couple years back, we almost beat them Ravens at the crib, but we not at the crib. And it's Monday night. And you know how Action Jackson like to show up on Monday night. Yeah, I got to go with them Ravens, man. But I'll gladly eat that crow or that raven if we mess around and win.
I wouldn't even lose no sleep. That's one. If we won, we wouldn't lose no sleep, man. And
Absolutely.
But I just don't feel like they're gonna be able to stop the powerful run game.
Yeah, and they're gonna have their trouble with their defense as well. So yeah, I just hope it don't get too ugly.
Agree. Now that I've said that and got that out the way, anything else would you like to add, E?
I'm just gonna add one more thing because I don't want us to go too long. Yeah, congratulations to the Big Dumper over there in Seattle for breaking one of baseball's better records. He is now the owner of the most home runs in a season by a switch hitter with his 55th. I mean, very impressive. I mean, you got to remember, y'all, as a person who was formerly a switch hitter, no homo, pause or whatever we need to throw on that. It ain't easy hitting from both sides of the plate.
Don't forget, he hit 2. He hit 56.
Exactly. So I respect that more than your average person because I've done it. And, left-handed, I power the ball. Right-handed, it was iffy. So when you got power like that from both sides of the plate, it is very impressive. Not to mention he hitting around 300 as well. So, yeah, shout out to that brother.
Absolutely. Well, that's all for me, man.
Yeah, that's all I got for us this week. You know what to do, my guy.
right, y'all already know what time it is. I appreciate y'all, and me and E been working hard on the productions and everything we've been getting in lately. But you guys can follow me, Hewley at Hoovy on Instagram. That's WHOOVI. Facebook, I'm Sports Guru to you, where I put a lot of the late breaking news, and then I give you the final scores of the games and keep up with all the news around NFL, NBA, etc. And on TikTok, I'm Hugh.Lee6. And I usually put up highlights from all around the leagues, NFL, NBA, you name it. And of course, if you have any questions or things you want us to do, man, you can reach out to me as well as the sports guru to you at gmail.com. Thank you. And we appreciate you guys from always chiming in, and keep it up. Don't forget to click on our link to like and subscribe.
Yeah, we definitely need y'all to do some more liking and subscribing, because we starting to do some things. You know, you've been looking on some of our pages, some of our reels, people, y'all starting to recognize them and like them, and we very much appreciate that. We've been working hard on our content creations, as you can see from our backlights and all of that. So yeah, definitely when y'all see these things and you go on our page, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. We're trying to get up to that point to where we can talk to YouTube or Facebook about that money.
That's what we're looking for, man. That's
Multiple streams of income is a beautiful thing.
because we've been working hard, man, more harder than ever the last few, like 3, 4 months to try to get like our content and promos. And
Absolutely. And then, of course, let us always shout out our people in the Nighthawk Network that we've been working with. Shout out to Queen Gemini. Shout out, of course, to Road to Stardom, also known as Miss Gigo. And, of course, shout out to Coach B. You know we see you, Coach.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all all.
And don't forget Big Meech and the crew as well over there at Dish and T. Appreciate y'all too, my guys.
Absolutely.
All right. That's it for me, my man.
You already know what time it is. Peace.
All right, y'all. Till next time. We up.